Okay, so strategy games, right? Sometimes they can feel a little, I don't know, repetitive.
Yeah, I get you. Like move your pieces, gather stuff, same old, same old.
Exactly. But what if a game, like, really shook things up, made every move a nail-biter?
Now that'd be interesting. What you got in mind?
That's where Casting Shadows comes in. This board game from Unstable Games, we're going deep on this one.
Casting shadows. Now that one's not just about numbers and perfect turns, no, sir.
It's got this psychological edge, right?
Absolutely. Keeps you guessing, keeps you tense.
I've been looking over, well, everything.
Hmm.
Promos, descriptions, even the expansions.
Mm.
It's giving dark fantasy thriller, but like on a board.
You nailed it. Dark fantasy for sure.
Right.
But there's this extra layer, almost a mystery unfolding.
So not just dry rules, there's a real story, a mood to it.
Oh, totally. They're marketing images, they're striking, these shadows, almost like they're alive, looming over everything.
Gives you chills, huh? Okay, so for our listeners who haven't tried it yet, how does the game actually work?
Right, so casting shadows, at its heart, it's turn-based. You're competing to reach this powerful state. It's called the shadow form.
Shadow form sounds intense, but how do you get there?
Each turn has 3 phases. First up, the resource roll. You use these 5 special dice, you gather resources, you got gems like your basic currency. Then there's these things called shadow fragments.
Shadow fragments, that name's cool. What do they do?
That's where the mystery kicks in. They let you tap into the shadows, get closer to that shadow form. You collect them, and they're key for certain actions, spells, that sort of thing.
So not just some collectible. It's strategic, when to use them, when to save them.
You got it. It's a balance. Early advantage, or save them up for big play later. Decisions.
Already sounds like tough choices.
Mm.
So after the resource roll, what's next?
Action phase. Now's your time to use your resources and make your move. 4 action points each turn. You can move across the board. It's a hex tile board, you know, those 6-sided spaces, right?
Yeah, I know those.
Good.
Nice.
So you move or cast spells, gather more resources, even summon these magical companions.
Only 4 points. Every decision must be huge.
Oh, for sure. And some actions cost more than others. Move to a good spot or cast that big spell. Tough call.
This is definitely for the strategists out there.
Then phase 3, shadow absorption. Here's where those shadow fragments really matter. You can absorb some, edge closer to shadow form.
So it's gradual, building up over
Yep.
time.
You got it. Can't just rush it. Planning, careful resource management, that's the key. And of course, everyone else is going for it too. So yeah, the tension's there.
This is getting good. And we haven't even talked cards yet. What's the base deck like? How does it all fit together?
The base deck, oh man, that's where things really open up. It's not just about resources, you're building a strategy. Attack spells to mess with your opponents, companions to help you out, even resource cards for a quick boost.
So it's not just like one kind of card, it's a whole system.
Exactly. It makes the decisions even tougher. Like, say your opponent's getting close to shadow form. What do? Build yourself up. Or hit them with an attack, even if it leaves you open.
Man, those are hard choices. It's like mind games on top of everything else.
For sure. The base deck, it just adds fuel to the fire. Each card's got its own thing going on, costs, abilities, all that. It's a real chess match. Every move matters.
Speaking of moves, those hex tiles on the board, they do something, right?
Oh, absolutely. Remember how some actions like moving cost you points? The tiles you land on, they change the whole game.
Okay, I'm curious. Give me an example.
All right, take the Crystal Crypt tile. You
Okay.
land there, guess what? No more lowering damage you take. All those defenses, spells, out the window.
So someone blasts you with an attack while you're on that tile, you're taking the full hit.
Boom, right on the chin. Changes everything. Suddenly that big attack spell looks real tempting, but you're also a huge target standing there.
So it's a high-risk, high-reward spot. Makes you think carefully about where you go.
You got it. And there are other tiles, some good, some bad. It keeps you on your toes. Can't just stick to one plan. Gotta adapt.
This is a lot to keep track of.
Yeah.
And I heard there are expansions too, right? What do those add?
Oh yeah, 2 big ones. Ice Storm and Molten Rock. They throw in these whole new environmental challenges. It's not just more cards, it's a whole new way to play.
So the whole game changes.
Completely. Ice Storm, for example, suddenly resources are scarce, movement's tough. Gotta be super careful with those action points.
Doesn't that make the game drag on?
It does change the pace, but it makes you think even more strategically. Survival, long-term planning, that's the focus now. It's like adapting to a harsh environment.
Okay, I can see how that would appeal to certain players, the real strategists. What about Molten Rock? How's that different?
Molten rock, that one's the opposite. It's all about raw power, harnessing this volatile energy, new spells, abilities, super destructive, but risky.
So high risk, high reward for those who like to go big.
That's it. And Molten Rock throws in new terrain features, too. Molten flows, you can use them to block opponents, create choke points. It's wild.
I like that. Each expansion, it's not just adding stuff. It's like a whole new way to think about the game.
And that's just scratching the surface. We haven't even gotten into some of the really deep mechanics that make casting shadows so unique.
Deeper mechanics. Come on, you got to tell me more.
All right, all right. Remember I mentioned the discard pile. It's not just where cards go to die. Casting Shadows has this system. The discard pile can become a resource itself.
Wait, so even discarding cards is strategic?
You bet. There are cards, abilities, they let you mess with the discard pile, draw from it, even use it to power up spells. It's like a whole other hand you can play.
That's crazy. Every part of the game has a purpose, huh? What else am I missing?
Well, there's the spellbook system. You get spells, but you got to store them in your spellbook limited slots.
So you can't just hoard everything.
Nope, got to be picky.
Hmm.
Which spells to keep ready, which to save for later, makes you think long term.
Okay, now my brain's starting to melt a little. I see what you mean about depth. But with all this strategy, does it ever get, chaotic? Any room for surprises?
So chaos, definitely. Remember those status effects like frozen and stunned? Those can throw a real wrench in your plans.
So even the best laid plans can go wrong.
You got it. Part of the fun. Got to be flexible. Think on your feet.
So that this game, it's got strategy, mind games, a bit of chaos, and this whole captivating world. I'm sold. But for anyone who's still not sure, what would you say is the one thing that makes Casting Shadows stand out?
That's a good question. I think it's how it brings all these things together so seamlessly. You're not just playing, you're living in this world. Choices matter. Shadows are both powerful and dangerous. And to win, it takes more than just skill. You got to embrace the unknown.
So it's like you become part of the game. It's not just a game anymore.
Yeah, exactly. It makes you think, right? About that shadow form. It's not just given, you earn it.
Yeah.
Planning, resources, facing the darker side of things,
I see it. It's like a life lesson almost. We all have that potential to grow, to change, but it takes effort. Tough choices. Using what you have wisely, even facing those inner shadows we all have.
Absolutely. It's not always about the easy way. Sometimes to really grow, you got to push yourself. Take risks, step into the unknown. Just like in the game, you might stumble, you might face challenges, but the payoff, man, the payoff can be huge.
I love that. Like the game's a mirror, reflecting our own journey, We're all trying to find our best selves, unlock that shadow form within us.
That's what makes it so gripping. It's not just winning or losing. It's about how you play, the choices you make, the risks you take. It makes you think not just about the game, but about yourself.
Deep stuff, man. It's like Casting Shadows is, I don't know, more than just a game. It's a metaphor for life itself.
Maybe that's why people connect with it so much. It's that universal thing, wanting to discover who you truly are, to come out changed.
Well said. If anyone's curious about Casting Shadows, want to learn more, head over to the Unstable Games website. Tons of info there, the expansions, videos, even a forum to chat with other players.
And hey, the best way to get it? Grab some friends, dim the lights, and let those shadows take you on a journey.
Until next time, everyone, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep on diving deep.